Cool. Just a quick introduction to the session. The session will be more like a project, right? And what is the project about? Everything we'll just deep dive into it in some time. Super excited for that. But yeah, it's more like we are trying to solve a problem, right? We when we work in the corporate world or when we work in the real world, we actually apply the concepts of data science or concepts of analytical skills that we learn throughout our programs or throughout our career, right? So we are going to actually apply how we apply in our real world scenario, right? So consider it to be one of your crucial projects that you are going to showcase in your resumes, that you are going to showcase in your interviews. So and this you are going to showcase as if you worked through it, all right? So your involvement in this project is highly crucial, right? So yeah, that is how we'll talk about it. So it's more like a problem statement that we are going to solve. So don't consider it to be like a coding class where we are just going to build a model, see the code and see the accuracy predictions, etc., and we are done. No, but we are going to solve a problem, a real world problem, right? So the project that we're taking up today is student portfolio. So yeah, before we start, I think I've given a quick intro of what we are going to do and what is the project about. So I hope everyone is on board with me, right? If you are, and if you're looking forward to this session, type in a quick yes. I'm just checking on you guys, right? Type in a quick yes if you are excited, if you are looking forward to this. Yes, yes. Okay, great to see the response. Cool. We'll get started. But before starting, I asked so much about you guys. I didn't give an intro about myself. So yeah, I'll just give a quick intro about myself. Hi, my name is Meghna, and right now I'm working with Uber as a data scientist. I mean, a data analytics specialist. I've worked with Sigma previously for almost 3 years, and I've worked with a lot of Fortune 500 clients across different problem statements, be it cybersecurity, be it pharmaceutical, be it retail industry, etc. So I've handled a lot of complex business problems. And along with that, I've also mentored a lot of students in the same field because I think, I love to do and I love to explore this field a lot. So yeah, that's like a very quick intro about me. You can definitely connect with me. You can definitely ask me more questions. Happy to answer. But everything you can do it on the chat box. I'll, keep a 5 to 10 minute slot of live Q&A as well at the end of the session. But even meanwhile, throughout the session, if you have any doubts, I'll try to answer them. Yeah. So we'll move forward. So let's look at the agenda for today. So first, we'll deconstruct the problem that we are handling. So we'll understand what is the problem that we are solving. There are n number of real world problems, and as part of Tutort, as part of the work that you're doing, what is something that you can solve for Tutort, or what is a real world project that you can do? We are going to deconstruct that. We are going to discover the data that is there with us. We are going to model the future outcomes, and we are going to do a data storytelling and we build a dashboard for that, right? So a lot of things definitely coming up on our plate. Now again, we have broken the sessions, the whole project to 2 to 3 sessions. Right, today is the first session where we are mostly going to talk about the problem statement, like what is the problem. We are going to deconstruct it. We are going to understand a lot of nitty-gritties to it, and then we are also going to explore the data. And let me tell you one thing that throughout the project, we are not only understanding how to do modeling or machine learning, but we are utilizing data science to the core. So be it the problem statement that we are understanding, be it the analyzation of the, analyzing the, data, be it anything, we are going to use a lot of tools and platforms, right? So we are going to use SQL as a language. We are going to use Python as a language, and we are also going to use Tableau as a tool. And for SQL, I am going to use BigQuery. BigQuery is a platform where you can query out your problems, query out your hypothesis, etc. And you're free to use your platform if in case you are not being able to use BigQuery as well. I'll give you an introduction of how to use BigQuery. I'll give you an introduction also on the syntaxes, and and we are going to use Google Sheet and Tableau, like I said. And also, again, since we are also modeling, so a lot of machine learning is also included in it, right? So, like I said, let's dive into the problem. And today, like I said, the first step is to deconstruct the problem and discover the data. Cool. Yeah. So, first part, what is the problem? Okay. So the problem that I have chosen right now is a real world problem that, all the interns or all the, students or interns that are working with us right now in our institution, Tutort Academy, has a very, evolving growth ahead of them, right? They're looking for new offers, they're looking for job switches, they're looking for better data science growth or better career growth, to be very specific, right? So in order to explore new ways of growing, we need to understand the student portfolio, right? We need to understand what are our students or what are our interns project three, or what are you students potential, if I put it right, right? So maybe, for example, you as an intern have maybe worked as a person in finance for 2 to 3 years, and now you're looking for a switch. Now you're looking for a switch into the data science domain, right? So you are very new to data science. You have absolutely no idea how the whole thing functions. And probably even the salary packages, to be very specific, is something that you have an idea of, but you don't know where you are going to land. So a critical challenge that we have in our hand is to predict what is the upcoming student salary packages that we can expect in the upcoming placement drive. So every institution has their placement drives, right? Like how all the colleges also have their placement drives. So for the upcoming placement drives, we want to predict, or we want to understand how much a particular student can expect as their salary package. And likewise, we can obviously train the student. For example, me as an intern, I'll understand where am I lying. I'll understand what can I expect and how to grow more. Definitely the problem doesn't end there. Look at it from an end to end perspective. Like, for example, I have some aspirations, right? I want to land a role of a data science manager at the end of the day. So for me to land a role of data science manager, how do I, follow this trajectory? Okay. Now the thing is that I, for example, earn X lakhs per an annum, right? Let us say that my package is X lakhs per annum, but I don't know what I'm going to earn next, or how much am I capable of earning, right? So in the upcoming placement drive, if I can get a forecast, or if I can get a number in hand that this much I can go right now based on my potential, this is the number that I can go ahead with, I'll be better prepared, right? I'll know that is this something that I want to go ahead with, or am I okay with it, or am I aiming high? Definitely, a lot of us will be aiming high. So our problem doesn't only end with the forecasting part, but our problem also aims, like, in the ways like from the insights that we have generated, because as we all know, data science is not just modeling, machine learning, or the tools, but it's more like torturing the data to expel all the insights about it, right? So if I know the insights, I'll definitely be able to, upskill myself, definitely be able to, be futuristic, be able to target better companies with better packages. So all in all, it is definitely going to be a very huge, path that I can lay down for myself. So that's why this problem statement is something that we are going to work ahead with. Currently, the current state that our students or interns are right now in is that they have just joined this program, and they're not sure that what are they going ahead with, or they're not sure that how much package they are going to land up with. So that's the current state where we have our data. We definitely have their demographic data, maybe their what is their current portfolio. We have that, but the future state that we want to reach is basically provide the students with or the interns with very accurate, career trajectory. So there, wherein we not only quote them a number, but we also give them recommendations on how to upskill, and think of it from from Tutort's perspective. From Tutort's perspective, you're helping Tutort give the interns a better view on their project or better view on their career, right? So so that whatever aim or whatever goal they have, they definitely can achieve that. They definitely can move ahead with that, and the institution as a whole also earns the reputation, or can plan their trajectory as well, right? So everyone cool till now? Everyone in the same pace? Can I get a quick yes if you are? Great, great. Right. So a lot of you are with me, and a lot of you are understanding what the problem is, right? So can anyone tell me one data point? Maybe we are just doing a brainstorming, right? The whole idea for us to is use our brains and just solve the real world problem. So can anyone tell me one data point that you think can be extremely crucial for us to solve this problem? Anything that comes up your mind? GPA, okay. What about others? Education background, right? Age, experience, skills, subject interest. Yeah, I agree. Skill set, yeah, project done, skill set, experience. What about current package? Do you think current package also, plays a role? Yes, yeah, right. Salary expectation, a lot of it, right? Yeah, I mean, all of you guys are on the right trajectory, to be honest. Yeah. So the journey that we are going to go ahead with is basically to understand firstly where is our intern's current portfolio lying, right? What does it look like, or where do they stand with us, right? Next up is the factors that are affecting their placement with us, right? What is something that are the leading factors to the salary packages that they're aiming, and what are the different attributes that are contributing most to it, and in order for them to lie where they want to, what are the recommendations, or what is something that they can do to upskill themselves. So we are here to create a whole presentation which will have everything, which will have details of the problem that we're trying to solve, details of how we are solving, what are we solving, what did we do, what is our solution approach, and then our insights, our modeling that we did, what is our prediction out of it. And also at the end of the day, we are going to give them a dashboard where they can lively check what are their skill sets looking like, or what is the number forecast that they can expect, and also like depending on the companies how much they can expect the package to be, etc., right? And also the recommendations of what they can go ahead with, or what are the topics that they can focus more on, right? So looks good to everyone till here. Are you guys excited about solving this problem? Yes, great to see the response. Yeah, okay, great. So now next step that we are going to do is explore the data, understand the data. So we'll do this in two parts, right? The first part is exploring the data through Google Sheet, and the second part we are going to use BigQuery, right? So in the first part, we'll just look at the data, and then in the second part, we'll be going more deeper into it, right? Okay. So here is how my data looks like. So these are basically my columns. So again, all the work that I'm doing, I'm going to do right in front of you, and we're going to do it together. So if you want, you can take notes, and once the class is over, maybe I can share the data with you. You can also have a look and try to do different experimental things with it, though you will also be given tasks to complete before the next session. But yeah, so I'm just going to make the data look a bit more presentable. Yeah, so these are my columns, and My employed column basically shows that right now, is the student or is the intern employed with us or not. Okay, so we have a have worked with column which shows their skill sets that they have worked with, right? And we have their previous salary package. We have the computer skills that they have. Which country are they from? How many coding experiences as a pro do they have? Or in total, how many coding experiences do they have? What is their main branch? What is the mental health status for them? Gender, their employment history, education level, accessibility, and their age, right? So this is how my data usually looks like, and this is the outline of it. And yeah, so we are going to explore from here. Yeah, years code pro versus years code, right? So years code is total years of coding that this person has for with us, and as a pro coder, someone who is extremely like someone who is pro at coding. What I mean by that is that maybe I'm code, for example, I'm coding since my school days right now, right? So it's been what, 9 to 10 years? But as a pro, I'm coding for only for 5 years. So there's a difference in that, right? So definitely years code pro hypothetically looks more contributing to the salary packages than normal years code. So yeah, that is one difference. So yeah, now that we have our data, okay, mental health. Mental health, yes or no is the one column that we have. So maybe this is basically depicting that mentally is this person in a safe space or not. You know, we all know that the whole process of finding a new job, like we know a lot of layoffs is going on. The industry is right now in a very hard space, so mental is the person doing fine or not, because your mental state also affects a lot in this whole process. Like if you are mentally right now in a state to dive in more, to give it more, definitely your chances of getting in or a better package is better, right? If a person has lost the game already, that person getting for them to get a better salary package would be tougher or harder, right? So mental state is mostly looking like that. Again, there is accessibility. Accessibility to a lot of job boards is what this means. If this person has accessibility to job boards, yes or no. So, for example, like LinkedIn profile, right? So, if a person has a complete LinkedIn profile, that means that person has a lot of accessibility to, good jobs or better jobs or job boards, right? And vice versa, right? Now we definitely don't have a range over here that whether the profile is complete or whether that person has LinkedIn or not. So we are just going to consider it as yes, as a person who has accessibility to more job boards or more job openings, and no as the obvious one, right? So is everyone clear with the data? Yeah, cool. Uh, okay, everyone is clear with the data, or is it just 5 people who are clear? What about others? I think we are like almost 25 people in the call. I would love to hear more response. Repeat in short. Okay, I'll just repeat in short. This is the data about all the interns that we are having. And they have their demographics like age, education level, past employment, currently they're employed or not, country they're from, what is the previous salary package, what is the current salary package, their computer skills, their employment, I mean, what are the skills they've worked with, their years of coding, their main branch, their accessibility and mental health status, etc. So that is a short in repetition. So I hope Rahul is clear for you. Yeah. So if everyone is clear with it, can you guys tell me your look ahead for this data? Can you tell me what do you think are the features that can contribute the most to higher salary package now? We all had our hypothesis before looking at the data. So after looking at the data, do you think something changed, or do you think these features are sufficing enough, or do you think what do you think is the most contributing factors to the salary packages? Years of experience and skills, have worked with, education level, salary, employment, years, coding experience. Years coding. So I think a lot of votes for previous salary and years of experience, if I'm not wrong. Pro coder. Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, even I agree with years of coding pro and previous salary package because that those are like mostly the deciding factors according to me. Cool. Now we know the data mostly. So I'm going to just show you that the as a part of first step, we can do a lot just within Google Sheet itself, right? So we'll just going to add filters and check the data. So we have two types of age groups, less than 35 and greater than 35. Uh, we're just checking the data, is everything clear, or if we have a pure data, or do we have some kind of unclean data that we are going to look ahead with. So we are going to just inspect the data a lot. We're just going to look ahead for the data a lot, right? And then we have accessibility. Yes, no, like I said, education level. So we have a master's education, no higher education, PhD, undergrads, and other. Uh, employment should be 0 and 1, right? Gender, we have man, woman, non-binary, right? Mental health status, again, yes, no. What are the main branches that we're dealing with? Developer and non-developers, okay. And we have different years of coding, definitely. We have countries, different countries that have this interns with us, their previous salary package, have worked with a lot of coding skills. Now, this is a column that I can see has a lot of data. If you see, Google is also taking a lot of time to load it because it has a lot of data and unique, columns are very less. So, can anyone tell me in such kind of columns, right, where we see there's a lot of skills that we have, how do we interpret this column, or how do we make our code, or how do we make the computer interpret such type of columns? How do you think we can make this whole column a lot more simpler? Any idea, anything? Slice it. Rahul says slice it. Okay. What about others? Computer skill group by filter, one hot encoding, group by filter. Okay, that's it. Anyone else? Any more ideas? Regis and move to different columns. Number of topics and skills. Right. Yeah, obviously there is no one right answer to it, but what we are trying to do is basically make it more simpler, right? So one thing that we can definitely do is uh, interpret this column with delimiters. Exactly, Madhu, I was just trying to say that. Just interpret this column with delimiters. So once we detect the delimiters and separate out the values, we can have separate columns for that. So we can do encoding in this case, where we can have separate columns, and then we can fill in the values that does the person, for example, if there are three skills like Python, C++, and maybe Java. So does the person know Python? Does the person know C++? If the person knows C++, then a 1 pops up. If that person doesn't know C++, then 0 pops up. Likewise, we can break it into different columns and make it more interpretable, right? Okay, yeah, great. Why we can take a account of computer skills and discard this column? We can definitely. There's no, like I said, there's no right answer like a yes or no that we can do just this or we can't do something else. But one thing that will happen, in my opinion, if we try to do that, is that we'll be losing a lot of data. A person having computer skills is, in my opinion, a very incomplete column, right? Computer skills can be anything. Computer skills can be maybe the person knows hardware, maybe the person knows software, or maybe the person knows only one type of programming language. But maybe, if that person, if we can break or add more detail to it, if we can look at it, a bit more minutely or deeply, that would be of much more, uh, importance to the whole modeling procedure or to the whole solving procedure that we are doing. Don't you think so? Right. Great, great, great. Cool. So we can look ahead in the data more. So what you can do when you try to look more in the data, so we are going to see different type of things, right? Definitely all of this can be again done in SQL, can be done in Python also, but we are just going to see different platforms and how we can utilize different platforms over here. And I can just click on insert. I can click on a pivot table. I can create a new pivot table over here. As you see, all our rows, etc. has come. Now herein we can play around with the data, absolutely play around with the data and see different kind of things. Now comes the part of structured thinking over, anything else. Okay. So how do we approach these analysis, right? We have a lot of data. We can see a lot of things. How do we approach this data a lot? So, uh, I mean, here what we can basically do is analyze each column, but also, do hypothesis testing, right? Now, what is hypothesis testing, right? Hypothesis testing is more like, let's make it very simple. We'll form hypothesis. And what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a statement that you make about the outcome or about anything. It's just a statement, and then we test out that statement. We see that is it true or not. Like for example, if you say that people who have more than 6 years of coding experience are likely to get higher salary package. That's a statement that I'm making. So that is an absolute hypothesis, right? And now this hypothesis is true or not. That is something that we are going to decide through the data. That is what we are going to look at in the data, and not through our words, right? We have just made a verbal statement. Now the work for us is to look ahead in the data. So that's like yeah, Rupesh, absolutely right. Something like student having age greater than 35 earns more income. So that's like an hypothesis, right? So again, there are two type of hypothesis. One, we'll go ahead more with it in depth with statistics, but yeah. So just to give an intro, there is two type of hypothesis that we usually work with. One is null hypothesis. The other one is alternative hypothesis. Always, null hypothesis is something that states that there is no existence or no relationship between the variables that we're talking about, and an alternative hypothesis is always the opposite of what we have just stated. So if we say that age plays a contributing factor in higher income, so that becomes an alternative hypothesis, because the null hypothesis will then be that age has no relationship with the higher income. So everyone clear till hypothesis forming, because we are going to do a lot of hypothesis forming today. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's look at maybe the years of coding that we have as our rows. So you can see that there are people from 0 to 50 years of coding as well, because we have a lot of people whose age is greater than 35, and definitely they'll have a lot of experience, right? So we are going to see their employment status. So we can just put them in values, and we can see this, count, right? So there are like 187 people who have zero coding experiences. And likewise, we can see for all the data, right? Now, to visualize such data, definitely there will be, issues, because we can't go ahead and look at every data point over here. So you can just select it, insert chart, and you can see the numbers over here, right? You can edit the chart, titles, etc. And you can look at the data points. So like for this data point, which is like people with 10 years of experience are actually the most with employment, right? And our data looks something like this. So you can do different or n number of things with Excel or Google Sheet. I work with Google Sheet, but you can use Excel as well. So again, you can do a number of things over here with Google Sheet. So everyone clear till here? Yes. Okay. Great. Cool. We'll come back to Excel again. Once we have some pretty good insights, we can visualize them in Excel or Python or Tableau. But we'll come back to Excel again. Let's now jump into our data. Looking at the data in a deeper level, right? So for looking at the data in a deeper level, I have used BigQuery. BigQuery is a querying platform from Google Cloud. You can use absolutely any platform that you want to. I am using this right now, and this is a free trial that you can take up, and yeah, you can even build models through BigQuery. It's called BQML, and a lot of corporates also use BQML. So it's a good to know skill, and you can even add it in your resume as well. So it will always increase your portfolio. But yeah, I've loaded my data into this, and okay, before I start, we all got to know the data a bit. We all got to see the data on a bit. But now we are starting with SQL. So before starting, I wanted to know how many of you guys are familiar with SQL. If you're familiar with SQL, please type in a yes. If not, then just no. I'll just take a minute to see your responses. Okay. Okay, cool. So a lot of people know SQL, but then there are people who doesn't know SQL. Can we do SQL code in Anaconda Jupyter? Yeah, you can encode your SQL code in Anaconda Jupyter as well. That is also possible. But just for people who don't know SQL a lot, I'll just give you a basic syntax. Okay. So again, SQL is a querying language, and for you to query out anything, you can just follow a very, very, very simple syntax. So you'll just type in select from and where. Okay. Select is basically what are the columns that you're trying to select. So for example, age is one of the columns, right? From is from where are you trying to get the data, right? For us, we are trying to get the data from our data set that we have loaded. So it's tutor dot in data intern dot intern. Again, this is very specific to BigQuery, because in BigQuery you have project under which you have data sets, under which you have your table. But if you do this in a very simple SQL server, you can just state your table name. So this is basically your table name, right? From where are you trying to fetch the data, and where you can give your condition, maybe, years of code is greater than 5. So this is a very simple, query that I wrote. I'm just trying to select the age column from the particular table name that I have, where years of coding is greater than 5. So this is a very simple SQL syntax that you can use right now for your analysis, but I'll highly recommend you to learn SQL, right? And this is over here, you get it. So, Vaibhav asked, what is the difference between SQL on BigQuery or on Workbench? There's no heavy difference as such. Like again, uh, there's a lot of platforms, right? There is SQL Server, there is MySQL, there is Oracle, BigQuery, and then all of these are different platforms. It's again what suits you. I'm using BigQuery because it's a very good to know stuff, because a lot of companies also work on BigQuery. So when you are very familiar and if you can work on BigQuery, you are just going to increase your portfolio along with your MySQL and SQL Server. That almost everyone who learns SQL starts with SQL Server or MySQL. So if you can practice yourself on BigQuery as well, that will be a heavy, upskilling. So I mean that's the only difference, and I find it to be very user friendly. Plus, you can build your models in BigQuery, so that's a very good, plus point that BigQuery has. So I hope that answers your question there. Okay. So people who were not familiar with SQL, did you just get a slight idea about it? Can we move ahead with the data exploration? Okay, great. Cool. So we know now how to write a basic SQL code. Let us look at the data. So what I've done is I've done a select star from table name, and I put a limit so that only few data points come up and I don't lose a lot of time in querying. And I'm just going to run it. I can see my data. I can see that there is age, accessibility, whatever columns we discussed, but there's a unnamed field as well. So this is probably an field that we don't require. So we are just going to, ignore this for now. Maybe it's like an index column that showed up. Yeah, but this is the data that we have. So if we would have not seen this in Excel, we would have seen it in BigQuery directly. So this is how it would have looked like to us. Now herein you can explore the data again. All of the tasks that we already did in Google Sheet, we can again do it over here. We won't go into a lot of coding, but we are trying to solve the problem more, right? So our problem is right now to forecast, the salaries that our interns are going to earn from us, and this is the data of each of the intern that is there with us, and we are trying to predict a salary package for them, right? So we are going to do a lot of hypothesis testing to understand what are the factors. So basically, what are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand what are the factors that are contributing to higher salary packages or more employment, right? So I have to bridge the gap. I have to bridge the gap between my current state and my future state, right? Right now, the interns are quite clueless. They don't know that what is the contributing factor to better packages or etc. Right? In the future state, they know what is the number they are projecting right now. They know that these are the points to upskill, and then they can again see the trajectory, all of it, right? So definitely, this is something that we are trying to solve. So we have to come up with factors that are the bigger data points towards the higher employment or higher salary package, and also insights that we gather throughout our process, right? So we'll do a lot of hypothesis testing over here and hypothesis forming, right? Definitely, when we do hypothesis, a lot of statistics is included, because statistics is all about analyzing, looking ahead in the data and seeing the data, etc. A lot more. But we are going to look at this from a simpler point of view, wherein we don't test the hypothesis through statistics, wherein there is a lot of significance testing. We have a lot of concepts, so we are here just going to test our hypothesis with data. We're just going to see data wise, is it true or not, right? So I have a hypothesis right now with us, wherein I have written that this is my first hypothesis, that interns with age greater than 35 have better employment, right? So I'll just see that, what is the statistics for that. So what I've done is I've taken age and I've done a count star to see that what is the number of people. This is the first step. So what is the number of people that we have with more number of, with age greater than 35 and less than 35, how many students do we have in each of these groups? So I'm just going to check that first. So what I've done is I've taken age and I've done a count star, which will count all the rows with that particular group and return as the same. So I'm just going to run it. So I have a lot of people whose age is less than 35 and lesser number of people whose age, greater than 35. Now, let's look at it a bit deeper. What am I trying to see? I'm trying to see is age greater than 35, people with, age greater than 35 have better employment. Let's again look at the data once more. Okay, I'm just going to comment this. So what are the columns do you think that I will need, to query this thing out? What do you think can be the columns over here? I'll just type in select till now. But yeah, any answer? Anyone? Main branch, okay. Salary, okay. Main branch and salary, okay. Only two answers, nothing other than that. What if I am trying to, check, wait, firstly, I'm trying to check that if people with age greater than 35 have better employment or not. So what if I check this that based on their age groups, what is the total number of employment we have? Because employment column has 0 and 1. So I can check that how many people in these age groups are employed right now. Does that sound better? What about others? What about others? Suddenly, I see less responses. What about others? Are you guys in the same space? Okay. Okay, great. No worries. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take age as my first column. I'm going to maybe sum up employed from, this is my table name, and group by one. Okay, there's an error. Okay, that's because I have not commented out the first query. Yeah. Okay, I have my answer over here. So there are, total of 26,000 people with age less than 35, and with age greater than 35, there are 13,222 people who are employed. So what do you think? Was our hypothesis correct or not? Did we prove our hypothesis to be right or wrong? What do you think from the output that we got? Yes, no. What about everyone, guys? Did you guys understand what we did right now? Our hypothesis is wrong. Salary also matters. Count cannot decide. Okay. Yeah, definitely, Rupesh. No, wrong, wrong. Yeah, wrong. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to do, I'll just repeat for the people who, look at, shouldn't we look at the proportion of employed per group instead? Yeah, we are just trying to see that, how many people are employed, out of the people that are there in each of the groups. So that we definitely got in our earlier query, right? Right now we are seeing that in each group, so how many people are employed, you know? So that is trying to give us an idea that in each of the age groups, how many total people are employed. So people with less than 35 that's the first group that we have. We have almost 26,000 people who are employed, rather than the people who are on the other age group where there are only 13,000 people. So definitely less than 35 is one of the age group with better employment status, right? And that's what we were trying to see. We are just trying to see that how many people are employed or not. That's what we were seeing, right? So our hypothesis is definitely wrong over here. We have proved our hypothesis to be wrong, right? Did everyone get it? Is everyone in the same level or in the same space? We proved our hypothesis to be wrong. Age greater than 35 is not good with employment. Ideally, it should have been, but it is not. Can we execute with mean instead of sum? Yeah, we can definitely do that. So that will be basically the average of this. So look at it in this way. Okay. Our employed column has 0 and 1 as its values, right? It will be either 0 or it will be 1. So what will average give you and what will sum give you? Can you tell me that? Uh, let's do a deep dive into this. Yeah. I got your question. Can I execute with mean instead of sum? Our employed column has zeros and ones, right? So if I do a sum, it is basically summing up. So since people who are not employed will be zero and people who are employed will be one. If I, for example, have 10 people out of which five people are employed and five are not, if I do a sum, it will simply give me the total number of people who are employed, which is five. But if I do a mean, will it always be a right thing to do? Will that give me what I'm trying to see? What do you guys think? Is mean better, or is a mean a correct approach over here, or is sum a correct approach over here? Sum, sum. We will give average, sum is correct approach. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? So, Aaron, I hope your query is answered. Yeah, great, great. So everyone with me till the first hypothesis, we just did our first hypothesis. We just looked at our data with the first hypothesis. Everyone with me, is it interesting? We're just solving the problem step by step. We just got to know that age less than 35 people have a higher probability of getting better employment, right? Yes? Great, great, great to see the response. Okay, I'll again comment this out. Now, now comes the fun part, wherein I am just not going to form all the hypotheses, but you are also going to help me form the hypothesis. So we'll just look into a second hypothesis. So can anyone suggest me hypothesis? Interns with age greater than 35 or more salary. Okay, we'll do all the hypotheses, right? Today we'll just going to see and deep dive the data more. Because like right, we are just trying to bridge the gap between our current state and our future state. Right. So interns with age greater than 35 earn more salary. So that's the hypothesis that Rupesh gave us. And then again, once we're done with this, we're going to go with other hypothesis. So for everyone, keep your hypothesis handy, right? Okay. So Rupesh, since you asked this question, what do you think should be the columns or the query over here? Or even for others, what do you think should be the query over here? We are trying to see if age greater than 35 people earn more salary. Salary and age, okay. But what will be my aggregate function for salary? What about others? Do you guys think average will be a better aggregate function over here? Yes. Everyone agrees with me before I run the code. Yes. Yes. Right. Great. Okay. Why average? Now, why average is basically my previous salary. Okay. I'll just comment this thing out, or let's just go into the Excel sheet that we have open. So the salary or the previous salary column that we have is a number, right? This is basically the amount that this particular person is currently earning or has previously earned, right? So this is basically a number. So for each of the age group that we have, we are trying to see that what is the is the people are the people with age greater than 35 earning more than the people who's with age greater than or less than 35, right? We're just trying to see with each particular group what's the salary like, or who is earning more, which group is earning more, right? That is what we are trying to ideally see, right? So if we are trying to see that, maybe looking at the average salary per group will make more sense, right? You agree with me? Or is your doubt clear, Rahul? Yes? Okay. Average can describe the data in both group of age. Yeah. Group by age won't come. Yeah, it will. I have grouped it by age. Here I've done a group by. So yeah, we'll just run it. Okay, we have our answer, and this is like people who have age greater than 35 have more salary. So we just proved our hypothesis right. So Rupesh, I think your hypothesis was right. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Yes? Yes? It's right? Yes, yes, yes. Cool. I'll just round this value up to two decimal places. Yeah. Okay. So for people who did not understand group by, we are grouping by a particular column. So one is the first column. So whatever is my first column, it will group it by that. If I would have given age in place of one, that would have also worked. But this is like a shorter syntax. So when we have a lot of columns that we are querying, we can't always write the answer, right? So we give one, two, three, etc. Everyone clear till here? Everyone clear till the second hypothesis? Yes? Great, great, cool. Let's move on to a third hypothesis now. But before moving on to the third hypothesis, I would like to take a break of 5 to 10 minutes. 5 minutes or 10 minutes. What do you guys think? 10 minutes? Okay, great. We'll take a 10 minutes break and we'll be back by 10:20. And yeah, till then, what I want is you guys to look at the data. I'll just share the data page. Look at the data. I want you guys to look at the data and form the hypothesis. And till the time that we come back, we can just have more hypothesis in place. I would have shared the data set. It's just not right now. I don't have the link with me, but by the end of the class, I'll share the data set with you guys. Today's class will focus on hypothesis, right? Yeah, we will focus on hypothesis mostly. We're just trying to deep dive this data more. Share in this chat also. Okay, let me just try to. I'll just give you guys the data set link. Just give me a minute. Okay, I've pasted the link to for the data set in the chat box. You can have a look at the data. Meanwhile, we'll be back by 10:21. But I want hypothesis from everyone. So please form your hypothesis. Look at the data. You use your analytical skills over here and form the hypothesis. Right? Okay. We'll be back by 10:21. All right. All right. I think I'm back. But what about others? Is everyone back from the break? Yes. Okay. Great. Great to see that. So did you guys have a look at the data and form your hypothesis or form your, wrap your heads around this data? Did you guys look at the data? Yes? Okay, cool. So what is the next hypothesis that we are taking? What is the next hypothesis that we can look for? What do you think we can look for? Anyone? Any hypothesis? Education level has more salary packages or not? Okay. So, Vaibhav, when you say a particular, hypothesis, it should be a statement, right? So maybe you can say something like education level. Okay, wait, I'm not typing. The education level. So what's the education levels that we have right now with us? Different education levels. Okay. Well, higher education level of higher studies have better salaries, right? Was this your hypothesis, Weber? You agree with the hypothesis? Okay, great. So see this, we can again do a very simple group by and see. So we can maybe look at the education level. So what's the column name? It's ed level. Ed level, and we're just trying to see the salaries for them. So again, what will be the aggregate function in this case for a salary? I want to answer from everyone for this one. I think by now everyone should be clear on the aggregate functions. Average, average. Everyone is saying average. Only four people responded. What about others? Is average good enough to go ahead with? Max salary. Okay. Max salary is is one more response that we got. But my opinion in max salary is basically if we look at max salary, there can be a lot of outliers, right? Not all the data that we treat is clean. And right now we're just looking at the hypothesis. We have not looked at the outliers, right? So if there is an outlier, then there can be, for example, extreme high value for a particular group, and that can bias our analysis or our hypothesis. So do you think max salary would be good or average? Average, right? Cool, cool. We'll do an average of salary, previous salary. And again, we'll round it up so that our outputs are more clear, and we'll group it back. So we'll run the code. Okay. So before me interpreting the results, can anyone tell me what is the insight that we get and is our hypothesis true or not? True, true. Okay. So is education level one of the contributing factors to higher salaries? Yes. Everyone on the same page? Cool. So this hypothesis is again true. PhDs are earning more on an average than other educational groups. Right? Cool. We are done with this one as well. What about the next hypothesis? People who have typed in your hypothesis earlier, can you just type in once more? Have worked with interns, have worked with interns, have more salary package. Again, Vaibhav, here comes a problem. We are not stating a particular hypothesis. A hypothesis is a very straightforward, pointed, directional statement. It should have a direction. So something like like the one that Madhu has pasted. Interns with dev as main branch is getting more salary, right? So Vaibhav, I think like I suggested in the earlier one as well, you can write something like people who have C++, Python in their particular skill set have more salary packages, right? That makes more sense, right? Okay. So I'm just going to go with the next one, which is interns with dev as main branch is getting more salary. So dev and non-dev is our main branch that we had in our data. So we're just going to see that. So first step first, we're just going to select from. If you see a very basic SQL syntax is giving us so much, right? So you can do a lot of hypothesis testing just by this thing. And you can think of multiple hypotheses, not just the ones that we are doing right now, but many, many more directional hypotheses as well. Something which is maybe involving more than one variable or more than two features, etc. We can think of something similar as well, right? Like an average of previous salary. I'll just do a run. Cool. What do you think? What do you think is the answer, or what do you think is the result of this hypothesis? Vaibhav says false. Priyanshu says false. Madhu false. Lakshmi false. What about others? False. Okay. What about others? False. Right? Exactly. This is false. But now, my question to you guys is that do you guys think main branch can be one of the contributing factors for previous salary? I mean, for better salary packages? Do you think branch as a factor contributes a lot to the data? Rupesh says no, 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 no. Not right, because if you see the difference, it is 67,000 and 68,000. So there marginally there's not a lot of difference. Yeah, there is a similar outcome, right? So maybe with this many data points we have this. So when we project this to more interns, or when a lot of more interns join us, maybe this can go haywire, right? And that doesn't give us a lot of output, or that doesn't give us a lot of direction. So main branch is something that we cannot consider as one of the deciding factors, right? Everyone agrees with me? Maybe main branch is not one of the better contributing factors, right? Yes? Cool, cool. I think I missed out on one more hypothesis that we had. This is the fifth hypothesis. I think it is related to gender, if I'm not wrong. Men are earning more. Okay, that's an hypothesis. So, how do you think I can test it out? Men developers are more in number than women developers. Okay, this is also a good hypothesis that we can club. with this. So I can just paste this here. Cool. So how do you think I can form the SQL syntax for this? Can anyone help me form the SQL syntax for the first one? Men are earning more. You can just take 2 minutes for you to form it. Okay, select. Do you think Tirumani it will be select men? Do we have any column as men? No, right? Yes. So select gender, comma, your average salary. I'll just run it. So what do you think is the output? What do you think is the hypothesis output? Priyanshu says true. Others right now say false. What about others? What do you guys think? False, right? Yeah. Men are not earning more. In fact, non-binary people are earning more, right? So people who have not declared their genders yet have more salary. So definitely this one is false, right? Now the next one. Men developers are more in number than women developers. How do you think we can form the syntax for this? Rupesh says select consta gender from table where main branch is dev. Okay, let's try this. It says is neither grouped or okay, agree with it. So we'll have to group it by gender. Cool. Let's run it. So this gives us the output. But does this solve our problem? What do you guys think? Does this query solve our problem? Rupesh says yes. Others are saying no. What about others? No, yes, no, 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 right? Yeah, it doesn't solve our problem, right? Because right now the data that we are seeing is only for people with developer as their main branch, right? We are not being able to see people who are from other non-dev branch, right? So we are not being able to compare them. We're not being able to compare main developers and women developers, right? So how about doing it as this main branch, and I'm just removing my filter and grouping it by main branch. So herein we'll have a better view of all of it, right? So can anyone now tell me what how the what what's the insight that we can get from here? What do you guys think is the insight that we are getting from here? Men developers are grown in number, right? Yes, there are a lot of men developers, right? So this is a true statement. Yeah, earlier output was also saying the same thing, Rupesh. But don't you guys agree that we have a broader spectrum? Though our hypothesis was being proved, definitely, but we were not being able to see the non-deaf uh, uh, interns that we have. So now we have a better view of all the people. So we can gather insights also, because our aim is not just to see prove the hypothesis, but also to look at the data as well. So do you agree that this is a better approach, or do you think the earlier approach also suffices? Okay, what do you guys think? I'm waiting for your response. Our hypothesis was only to see men developers are more in number than women. Right. Yeah. What about others? Are you guys understanding? Are you guys clear till here? Clear, clear, clear. Okay, great. Okay, great, great, great. Cool. So we'll just take our last hypothesis. So it will be a fifth hypothesis. So any hypothesis on your mind for the fifth and the last hypothesis? Can we do accessibility interns are more employed? Yeah, definitely, yes. So what we can do for accessibility is we can maybe select firstly from the data point that we have. So we can to see accessibility with employment, we can see accessibility, comma. So what do you guys think? Over here should be the aggregate function. We are trying to see if accessibility interns are more employed. So what do you think should be our firstly column, and secondly what should be the aggregate function for us? Vaibhav says count, Rupesh says sum. Count. Okay. So we are not trying to do a count. I mean, what do you guys think should be the column before me answering? Uh, what do you guys think should be the column? Star or employed as a column? Employment, right? Exactly. So for the people who were saying count, if I do a count of employment, it is basically going to count the rows, right? I don't want to count the rows. I want to see how many people are employed in a particular group. So it should be sum. It should be sum as a aggregate function, and then I can choose employed as my column, and I can then group it by one. Cool. When I run it, I have the answer. So is my statement correct? Yes, no, false, false, false. Right. So it's a false statement, right? Okay. Great. So I think there was a few more hypotheses. People who are employed will have higher salary. Yeah, very obvious hypothesis, right? We can test it out. The people who are employed. So we can select this part is common. So our select column will be first employed. And what will be our aggregate function in this case? Let me see who takes it up first. What should be the I, aggregate column? Okay, Vaibhav took it. Great, average, right? Okay, cool. So people who are employed and people who are not employed, we have their average salary. So what do you think about this hypothesis? Not a good hypothesis, right? Yeah, it doesn't, it is not making a lot of sense, or data is not giving us a lot of importance to this, right? Yeah, everyone agrees with me till here? Great, great, great. Cool. So we have done a lot of hypothesis testing. We have seen a lot about the data. So what do you think till now was the most contributing factor towards better salary and more employment? Education level, right? I'm glad that you guys responded. I almost thought we forgot the results of the hypothesis, but I'm glad you guys responded with this. Yeah, education level, higher education is directly contributing to a lot of salary, higher salary packages and a better hike and a better outcome, right? Cool. The similar thing that we saw with the data right now, we explored the data a lot today, right? We looked at the lot of hypotheses. We now know what are the factors that can go in hand, right? We can do a lot more with the data actually. The same thing that we saw, we can look at the charts or the visualization over here in Excel. Like for example, I can insert a chart. Just give me a moment. Google Sheet is stuck. Yeah, we'll go to setup. Just let's just delete both because this when we don't specify, it takes all the columns and auto columns. So you're just going to customize this. Just give me a moment. But yeah, meanwhile, one chart that you guys want to suggest me to try it out right now, some visualization that you want to see from the data. Yeah, bar chart, but can you tell me for what? Like any data point, any column that you want to see specifically? The salary and age, right? Okay, great. We can just go to chart and access your we have one second. We have our data points. Delete this. So we wanted to see Yeah, we wanted to see salary versus age, right? So our x-axis should be our age. Age is our A column, right? Look at this aggregate. So if you see, it is taking age less than 35 and greater than 35. So it is taking our first, row as not as a column, but as a row as itself. So we're just going to put it from 2, right? And here we are going to add a series. Here again, you can go and add your previous salary. Click on OK. So here you get your response, right? You can go to customize and customize your chart better. Type in your chart title, age versus salary, right? You can maybe edit it out, right? So did we all understand this particular chart and how we created it? Did we understand this particular visualization? Yes? Easy, right? Yeah, cool. We'll just do one. Please repeat why we did this. So I'm just trying to see and show that how you can do different visualization and data, understanding the data through Google Sheet as well. So a basic level of analysis can be done through Excel or Google Sheet as well. So I just inserted the chart and I just dragged and dropped and showed you a chart, and I can see that definitely people with less than the 35 age is, being able to earn more than the other group. So that was the simple objective, to show you guys how you can do simple representations on Google Sheet as well. Okay, cool. And similarly, you can go to chart and you can select different options and customizations, etc. Now we are done with our first section of the class. We are done with our data's understanding, basically the deconstruction that we were trying to see. We saw whether, how the data looks. We analyzed the data. We did a lot of hypothesis testing. We saw what are the few contributing factors towards higher salary and better employment, etc. Right? So now what I need from you guys as part of assignment or a part of homework that you can, say before our next class, which is on Monday, is that whatever insights we generated, I want you guys to form a presentation out of it. So it can be a presentation, it can be a document, it can be of any form. You can choose PPT, you can choose doc format, you can choose PDF format, anything that you think, but it should be presentable. It should be something that you can present to the stakeholders of Tutort, and something that depicts the story of how, what is the problem statement that you're trying to solve, and what are the insights that you got from your analysis or your hypothesis testing that you got, did on here. So this is the task that I need from everyone to do. And only when you submit all of this, you will be your project work will be termed as valid. So yeah, throughout the project we will be filling up this particular document of yours that you're making until the end, wherein we next class we are going to look at the data on a deeper level. We are going to explore Python, Jupyter Notebook, etc. And we are also going to build a machine learning model to forecast their salary package and see what works out and what doesn't work out for us, right? And in the third session, we are going to look at the visualization and build a dashboard for the interns as well. Right. So we are going to do all of it, and meanwhile, we are just going to, store all our insights, store all our outcomes, and whatever we are doing, or however we are proceeding in a very precise and presentable manner in a document presentation, etc. Whatever it is, right? And this is something which will be your project work at the end of the day, right? Even when we work in the real world, we don't go and show the code to the client. We never show the code to the client, right? Or the stakeholder. What we show is what we got out of it. That is our data point, or that is our story that we are telling to the client, right? So that is a very important, crucial factor in our daily work that we do. So I expect the same from you, and I want you guys to build your you know story till here, and I'll give you a link to submit it. Everyone has to submit it on that particular link, and I'll be looking personally. I'll be looking through all of the submissions and then give my feedback. So yeah, everyone clear with the assignment? Everyone clear what did you need to do? So I'll just uh give you the space to I'll just give you the link where you can upload your projects assignments. Yeah, so I've pasted the link in the chat box. Please open the link or save the link. This is where you have to upload all the assignments and submissions for the project. And yeah, what would be the time for the Monday's class? That will be informed to you over the mail and through Tutort. So we need to provide an insights on the data set. This is the only thing, right? No, you need to depict the story till now. So whatever you understood out of the data, first thing first, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Who is your stakeholder? Which is Tutort in your case. What are you trying to solve? And what is the current state? What is the future state? What is the gap? All the things that we discussed in a very short, precise, depictable manner, and then your insights and your hypothesis testing that you do. Preferably a visualization out of it that we did through Google Sheets, something like that would be more appealing and attractive. So yeah, put in all your creativity, put in your analytical skills, and we'll be seeing how each one of you present your story. Right? Cool. Everyone agrees with me till here? Great. So I think we are at the end of the class. Before we drop off, I'll take 5 minutes for solving all your doubts, and herein you can absolutely feel free to ask any doubt related to job, related to the work that we just did, related to the project, data science, anything. This is your time to ask me any question. And also, yeah, yeah, Rupesh, please go ahead. Type in your question in the chat box. And also, please let me know what you guys feel about the session. Did you guys feel that the session was helpful and interesting? Yeah, Rupesh, please go ahead.
Hi, Meghna.
Yeah,
Like we did hypothesis testing with the help of SQL.
yeah,
Generally, we do in Python with the help of some hypothesis testing. Some tests are there, hypothetical tests are there. So
yeah.
both the things are same or different?
So at the end of the day, we are trying to see our hypothesis, right? Now, what we did is a very basic level of analysis that we saw in SQL, like I was saying you. We're just trying to see that what is our data telling about the hypothesis that we are forming. But is it significant enough? And this is again a a sample of the interns that we have. There will be n number of people who will be working with us, right? So is the results or is the hypothesis that we are saying significant or not, that is something we actually term as hypothesis testing, and we do a lot of hypothesis testing with the help of statistics, right? So therein, yeah, obviously we use Python for that. Therein we see all of those things, but this is a basic level of data analysis that we did.
Okay. So ultimately, we have to do Python statistical
Yeah,
test.
yeah. We'll be looking at the data statistically in the next class. Like I said, Python, I have included Python for the next class. And right from analyzing the data to looking at it statistically to building the model, everything we are going to do in the next class. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, and like you said, we are going to make some forecasting system here.
Yeah.
So what will be the output of that forecasting system? Like it is the employed 0 or 1, or what will be the output?
So we are trying to predict the salary, right? We are going to forecast what will be the salary package that a particular person can earn, right? So it will be a number. So
Okay,
yeah,
regression problem.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
Faisal. Yeah. Sorry, Rupesh. Go ahead.
for the regression, so how will we will be using, like, we will use the previous salary, something like that?
That we'll have to see, right, in the next class.
Okay.
What is contributing more?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Faisal, please go ahead. Uh, so sorry guys, I had a power cut. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Sorry. Yeah, Faisal, please go ahead. I think we were asking some questions.
So regarding the we had attended some more projects previously. So
Yeah.
basically, so the main important task by switching from one domain to another into data analytics or specific field will be the most important thing will be the resume. So along
Yeah.
with connect these project sessions what we have did practically in those real world application projects directly to our resume so that while we are attending to the interview so that it might be helpful so that when the interviews checks our project and he does not assume like done the projects basically from in training sessions rather than we have worked on some real time application projects. How can we
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I want you to create your story, and that's why I want you to create your presentation. That will basically help you understand the problem. And you are doing it hands-on, right? So when you're creating your story, you will be forming your hypothesis, you will be checking and analyzing the data. And even in the next class, though I give, give a viewpoint on the ML models and etc. that we will be building, will also be, yeah, can you hear me?
yes, Meghna. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying that this is something that you can include as a very impactful statement in your resume that you have solved a real world problem, right? Mostly what happens is that as part of personal projects, we pick up projects from Kaggle, we pick up projects from a different sites which are already solved, which is something where you don't use a lot of brains. But when you showcase something as a real world problem in your interview, your impact generally gets created more. So this is something that you do we have done for a particular institution. We have solved the student, focus on their trajectory, look at their numbers, etc. So you can definitely, go ahead with this project in your resume and create more impactful statement. But the only deal over here for you is to do hands-on and get involved in the project and do it yourself after the session. So that and complete the task. So that will be the deal breaker.
So,
I hope that answers your question.
Meghna, got it.
Yeah. So yeah, Vaibhav, I think I answered your question that yeah, we will be building a model, ML model. How can we create our project portfolio? Is there anything post or something you want to share with us that would be helpful? Your project portfolio, like I explained just now, is this. What are you doing to solve the problems, right? And how you are solving better problems. So rather than, definitely for practice and for getting better at the, projects, we can definitely use a lot of open-ended statements from Kaggle, etc. But when you do projects like this, which are more real term, that will basically help you build your portfolio much, much better. So I'll highly recommend for you guys to complete the project, to follow through the whole session, for you to get a better understanding of the project and to utilize this project in your resume and in your interviews, right? So I hope all the questions are answered, right? Or did I miss out on any question? I think I've answered all the questions. Cool. Cool. Before ending the session, can I just get a quick feedback from you guys that, was the session helpful? I think some of you already answered, but for everyone, was the session helpful? Was the session interesting? So this will help me shape the next session. So please let me know. Informative, or is there something that you guys want to, you know, um, want me to include more in the sessions? Anything? It was helpful. Okay, great. Great. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for staying with me throughout the session. And I love the response. And I'll see you guys in the next session. Let's you guys are weekend right now, so make sure you complete the task and the assignment. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next session. So thank you so much for attending. I'll see you. Okay, bye.